Hey everybody, it's Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show. Your source for a lot of things: inspiration, encouragement, motivation, humor.
Sometimes.
You know what? Today's going to be fun. Gotta have fun.
I'm excited.
I made a note about humor. Let's see what it says, if I can read my writing. It said humor usually wins out.
Oh.
So, you know, like in the world of popularity, like social popularity, they say that a guy, even if he's ugly, can win over attractive women with humor.
I believe that.
You do?
I do.
You have to believe that. You didn't have an option. I'm kidding.
I believe it.
I guess his personality really turns women on compared to physical attractiveness. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, if you're physically attractive and you've got money, money's a big deal too, and you're funny, man, you got it made in that world. But how about the woman? What if she wants to capture a guy? What does she have to do?
She has to be funny.
Are the rules the same?
She has to be funny
too. Are the rules the same?
No, girls, yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different, guys.
I don't know. I think it's the same rules.
I don't know.
Because you know, because a good-looking guy that has money, who's physically attractive and cool. We used cool the last time. We got into all kinds of discussions about cool. It's a key word at our last podcast. Then she's going to have to really work hard to get the guy, because he knows he's got something going on. So I think it's the same rules either way.
I don't know. I think guys sometimes have one-way thinking in the beginning.
That's true.
And so they're attracted, whether it's hair, whether it's a body part, whether it's face. I think guys follow the wrong instinct in the beginning.
Speaking of that, there's a gal at the gym that I do the Stairmaster with, and man, this gal is like really attractive. And I noticed yesterday.
Is she funny though?
She is funny.
Okay.
And I noticed yesterday.
Does she have a good personality?
She's got a great personality.
Okay.
Yeah. But I noticed yesterday she was wearing she had a different look, like really like sexy look. Like she hasn't been looking like that. Yeah. See, back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I think she's lost some weight.
See?
I know. And then I think she put on a little makeup too, and it was like, I said to myself, man, this girl looks like way more attractive today than she did like the day before. Even though she's always been attractive, but this is like another step up. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking, why is she doing that? She's engaged. She's happily engaged. And I notice she's always looking in the mirror when she walks down through the gym. She'll always look in the mirror, check herself out. It's like, she's funny.
It must have worked. You know.
So on the way out today, she said, "Did you do the Stairmaster?" And I said, "I sure did." And she said, "Oh man." And then we talked about that a little bit. But she's the one that motivated me to do longer minutes. I went from like 20 to 30 minutes. And and you never know who's going to motivate you.
I wonder if she would think the same of you if you wore a different outfit and you put makeup on too.
That's a good point. I might woo everybody at that point.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to humor. Okay, well, we wore that subject out. Today we're going to talk about struggle. We talked about it in the last podcast. You remember when they used to say, "Hey, you want to come to my pad?" That was like an old 60s hippies comment. Mm-hmm. What does that mean, my pad? I mean, it's your apartment or your place, but what does pad mean?
I don't know.
We're always trying to figure out what words mean or phrases mean.
Back then, I guess it meant this is where I live.
Yeah, but where did the word, how does the word originate? What does pad mean?
Oh, somebody had to make it up.
Maybe like a pad's like on a floor, like soft, like you sleep on a pad. I don't know. Have to look that up.
Could be.
So we talked. We were getting into the discussion about staying the course and the fact that we are struggling to stay the course, and all the different reasons why we could make the excuses not to stay the course, and what we can do to counter those distractions. So I talked a little bit about staying on focus. I talked a little bit about taking a mental break, taking a physical break. and then get back at it. So when you set these goals, guys, you have to realize that it's not going to necessarily be an overnight success. And I have to remind myself about this as well every day. The problem is now at my age, I was talking to my coach about this last night. When you're 71, if you're lucky, you'll live 16 more years. So when you put that in perspective, that means I'm on the last 20% of my physical life. Now, you can look at that a lot of different ways. From my perspective, I say to myself, hey, I got to really speed this thing up because I'm a very goal-oriented person. Or you could be negative. You could say, oh my God, I'm going to die soon. Well, no, you can't look at it like that. You got to say, okay, I got this much time. And that's if you're lucky. That's 16 extra years. That's if everything goes well.
Yeah.
That's if you don't get cancer, if you don't get killed in a car. That's if you don't have a heart attack, yada, yada, yada. So, life's short, man. Even when you're young, you don't realize it. Like my coach and I were talking last night. He's 40. I said, man, you're only like halfway there. But he's reflecting on that and suggesting to himself, oh my God, my life's halfway over. No, it's like, what's the saying about the glass? Is it half full or half empty with the water? So you have to be positive. You could be realistic and positive at the same time. It's okay to fret a little bit. You like that word, fret?
Fret.
I don't hear too many people use that word.
No.
I like
Just
that
you.
word. Just me. I'm so original. Or you can be positive and move forward and say, hey man, I've got whatever time I got left, I'm going to make it productive. And I'm going to have fun and I'm going to enjoy myself, right? You got to do all that too. Look, working hard all the time is fine, particularly if you enjoy what you do, if you're in business, if you're a profession that you like. At the same time, guys, you got to have fun. You got to enjoy your life. You can't fret about things that are not important. Because every day, all day long, you're going to have thoughts in your head that are negative. If you're not careful, that's going to overwhelm you. You cannot allow that. You have to be positive. You have to think, okay, yeah, these things could happen, but I'm not going to worry about those things because until they happen, it's not worth pulling myself down and being frustrated about. Don't fret.
Don't fret.
Don't fret. How do you spell fret? I think it's F-R-E-T-T.
Okay. That sounds great. It's kind of like fret is like stress, right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't fret. Don't
They're
stress.
related.
Yeah.
I think they're like a synonym. It's like a synonym.
Has nothing to do with pad.
How do you like the word synonym? I haven't heard that in a while either.
I haven't either. Just a few minutes ago.
You know what synonym means? It means like a likeness,
Yes.
like a similar word. Only, I mean, it's like it has the same meaning, but it's a different word.
Stress.
Stress.
Fret.
I had to stop and get a root beer, guys. I was stressing when I left the gym. I had to get some sugar in me.
Ah, boy.
No, not really. I was just a little tired when I left the gym. So a little bit of sugar pumps you up a little bit. It's probably not healthy, so don't take my advice on that. But at the same time, you know what? You got to have a little bit of enjoyment when you work hard, play hard. You got to have a little bit of fun. So at any rate, okay, back to the topic. Always getting off the topic. Always going down these rabbit holes. Sometimes you need like even more than a few minutes to reflect. You need to reflect or take a break. Sometimes you got to take a couple of days or maybe even a vacation. I'm not too big on vacations. Like if I take a vacation for a week, I'm only gone like 2 days and I'm back to my office. I'm just funny like that. I'm already worn out with the vacation. I want to get back to work.
I love vacations.
You love vacation.
I do.
I know you do.
Got to reset.
I know you do.
Recharge.
And that's good.
Reset, recharge. But I also do it because I truly believe that traveling gives you lots of life experiences.
Good point.
And it's really been great for my kids over the years
I agree with
to
you.
learn a lot of things that you don't learn in school.
I agree with you, sir. Talk about travel for a minute. I love traveling. With my jiu-jitsu business, I travel quite often to do tournaments. Mm-hmm. But when I travel, I usually just have my phone with me. I'm taking phone calls from my company. I'm still running my company. I go straight to the tournament. I do my competition, and then I go straight back to my office. Every once in a while, though, I have to travel far enough away that I have to spend the night. Like if I go to Vegas or Los Angeles or New York for a tournament, then I'm going to spend the night. But I still have my trusty phone glued to my ear so I can still run my company. So I say that to say this, guys. You don't have to ever disconnect yourself from reality. You can with this instrument, you can be literally communicate with the whole world at any moment, right? Mm-hmm. That's fantastic technology when you really think about it. Because in the old days, you'd have a physical phone that was attached to the cord to the home, and you didn't have that mobility, right?
Right.
But for probably 40 plus years now, we have this ability to be mobile. That's crazy when you really think about it. Mm-hmm. Tesla, the brilliant inventor back in the day, I think he predicted this. I read an article. Yeah, he predicted that there would be, yeah, isn't it crazy? What's so funny?
I got a funny story.
Okay.
So I was traveling in another state last couple of days. Met up with a guy that just bought a new Tesla. Mm. And he was telling me all about it. I said, I don't know a lot about it. I don't know about electric cars. And he goes, you want to hear something really funny? And I said, sure. He goes, Elon Musk has a sense of humor. I said, really? He said, yeah. He goes, somebody told me that he programmed on the big screen that's inside your vehicle.
Yeah.
Anytime you drive through a cemetery, spirits will be walking around inside the cemetery. And they did it. After they bought the Tesla, they found their first cemetery, drove through it, and he said it didn't work all the time, but he said we'd make a left turn, a right turn, all of a sudden there'd be spirits walking around the headstones and gravestones. He's got that programmed in there just to be funny.
He is something, that guy. And what a genius. Yeah, that's a good story. That's cool. You know, people didn't give him the time of day. That's a whole other topic on a whole other podcast, but he proved everybody wrong for real and put it together, man. And now he's like the guy. Now he's hanging out with President Trump doing all kinds of cool things with government too, as well as rockets and cars and robots and brain transplants maybe and brain implants. And who knows what else he's going to be doing. This guy's all over the place. When you got that kind of money, though, you can do anything you want to do. Back to the money thing. Look, guys, it's not the greed for the money. It's the idea that if you work hard and you make money and you have money, you can do things. You can make investments. We were talking about that earlier today, but investments with your own money, where you're not borrowing money. And then if you make a mistake, which I've made a lot of them, you don't have to cry to the bank that you can't pay back the loan or cry to the investor. You just lose your own money. That's the best way to invest, I think. But I'm old school like that. I don't borrow any money. So it's good to manage money. If you make a good living, take a percentage of it, save it, hang on to it, and use that money, first of all, to buy a house. If you don't own a home, that's number one. You got to own property. Mm-hmm. Because property always goes up in value. It's not like a car. Cars go down in value. So I've always thought to myself, real estate's key. If you want to invest in your business, that's smart as well. Obviously, invest in your health. But cars, guys, it's a waste of money, in my opinion. It's way too expensive, for starters. I read an article yesterday that said in 1920-something, they were selling used cars for $30. Now, think about that. That's like 100 years ago. Now, think about this. No, yeah, 100 years ago. Think about this. When I was a kid in the 50s, early 60s, my father bought a brand new car for $1,500. That was 60 years ago. And now you're telling me the average car, I read an article, is $47,000 today. Something's wrong with this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'd love to analyze. And you can just, if you analyze these things, you can see it's just something's wrong. Something's wrong with this whole process. But homes, real estate, hey, man, build a house, buy a house, whatever you got to do. It's always going to be worth more money the next year than it was the year before. You can never go wrong with real estate.
Most of the time.
You can really go wrong with the wrong pick with a girlfriend or wife or husband. You can really go wrong sometimes when you invest in a new business and it fails.
They don't appreciate in value?
No, they don't appreciate the value. It's another loss. It's another expensive ordeal. Not always, look. But, hey, there again, look at the numbers, guys. What's the percentage of divorce? 50, 60, 70%. And relationships are going to go right along with that. The average relationship is 50, 60, 70% of the time going to fail. Why? Oh, we've talked about this. All kinds of reasons. They lie to each other. They don't respect each other. They get together for the wrong reasons. They use each other. They manipulate each other. Eventually, there's bad juju there, and it just falls apart. And then there's hell to pay. I have so many friends struggling with relationships. I mean, it's horrible. And they just ruined your life for a while. Then here's another problem with it. You get into bad habits. Oh, I'm so unhappy. I'm so sad. It's so traumatic. And I'm going to drink, and I'm going to take pills, and I'm going to do street drugs. And then guess what happens? Next thing you know, you're addicted. Now you've got a whole nother lifetime problem that came from another problem that was a small problem, really, that turned into a huge, monstrous problem. Guys, you got to be really careful. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. But you got to really watch who you hang out with and spend time with. I talk about this all the time. You become who you surround yourself with. If you hang out with the wrong people, and listen, I've done this. I'm not saying, I don't want you to ever think that I'm perfect. I've made more mistakes than probably all you guys put together. That's why I like doing the podcast, to express to you my understandings of these things that I've done wrong and how I've been able to right the wrongs. You're still going to make mistakes. Even when you figure things out, you're still going to screw up. You're still going to do things wrong. You're a human being, for God's sakes. We're humans. We're emotional people. We're not like Spock on Star Trek where we're logical. We're going to do stupid things. The secret, though, back all the way around again, is to say to yourself, okay, I failed, but you know what? I'm going to pick myself up, I'm going to brush myself off, and I'm going to start over again. Every morning is a new opportunity to start over. I think God's greatest gift to human beings is that we have a new day every day, a new beginning every day that we could start all over. Forget about the past. Forget about the mistakes. Forget about the heartaches. Forget about it. Today is starting over. It's a brand new day. And man, you got the whole world in front of you. Unless you're old and it's kind of a short period of time, not that much time left.
Yeah.
But you got some time. Look, I can pack a lot into one day. I can do as much in 1 year as some people can do in 5 or 10 years. So I've learned how to be much more efficient with my time. And as I get older, I'm already old, I've learned to be much more effective that way. And so I'm okay with the fact that, my life's short at this point, my lifespan's short, because I've learned to be a heck of a lot more efficient. So don't let that bother you either. If you guys are up in the years and you still have goals, you're not lazy and you're ambitious, listen to what I'm telling you, man. You can start over. I don't care if you're 70, 80, 90 years old. I saw an article about Dick Van Dyke. He's 99 years old, almost 99. This guy was a brilliant actor, singer, movie star, comedian, funny guy. He's 99 years old, maybe a month away from being 99, doing a video with Coldplay, which is a very successful group. And they just finished a video. I think it's like a special for Disney or something, because he was a big Disney star back in the day. 99, guys, and he's still doing business. He's still doing music. It's never too late. Don't ever give up on yourself, ever, ever, ever. How are we doing on time?
It's time.
It's time? I'm ready for breaking news.
Are you?
Yeah, I didn't get very far on the list, but that's okay.
Are you sure?
I never get that far on the list. I'm ready. What's the breaking news?
Well, I was skimming through various news stories, and this one just popped out.
Okay.
And I could not. I have to tell you about it.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Okay, here we go.
I'm ready.
Oregon man steals snake by stuffing it down his trousers.
Oh my God.
He's lucky it wasn't feeding day, said the shop. Feeding days are on Mondays, and they're very hungry on Mondays.
Oh my gosh.
Just thought I would
That's
share that.
Crazy.
I mean, I don't think I would ever put a snake down my pants.
Why would you want to do that anyway?
Ever.
That makes zero sense.
Well, he stole it. He was taking it home.
Oh, I see. He's trying to get away with it.
Yeah,
okay, I get
he
it.
stole it. They caught him. It was on video camera.
How brilliant. If it would have been feeding day, he would have been...
Oh, yeah.
He would have...
Yeah.
His life would have been screwed up forever.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Yes. And also, today is National Tango Day. Do you tango?
I have tangoed.
You have?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
I've got a few dance steps up my sleeve.
Okay. Okay.
Not too many, but a few.
And it's also National Have a Bagel Day.
Oh, I like bagels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being Jewish, I love bagels.
Yeah.
I grew up on bagels and cream cheese and lox. Can't beat that, man. Bagel with cream cheese and lox. Oh, man. That's the best ever.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're eating them at your pad.
My pad, that's right. Speaking of music, speaking of dance moves, back in the day there was a guy by the name of Chubby Checker, and he was in competition with Domino Fats. And they were like, they probably made up names, but at any rate, they were like in the 60s. And I saw Chubby Checker there. He's got to be in his 80s. He's not chubby anymore, and he's still performing.
Wow.
That's crazy. So a lot of these guys a lot of musicians now are still doing business in their 80s and 90s. You don't have to. I just say that to say this again. You don't have to get up, guys.
I heard AC/DC's doing a North American tour, and those guys are
70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger just turned 80, and who knows if they're going to do any more concerts? Probably. Well, what are we going to talk about next? Are we closing out?
You mentioned something at the beginning of the podcast. I said we should talk about that.
About struggle.
Bit. Yeah. No, was that?
We've been talking about struggle.
No, it was something
overcoming
else.
struggle.
It wasn't about the.
It was about
1 in 5. Was that it, or was it was something else?
I can't remember. When you get old, you can't remember things very well. You forget.
Okay, that was just like 30 minutes
It
ago.
was a good. I know it. I'm really in trouble, man. Look, guys. Here's the deal. Pickle. Here's the deal, Pickle.
Dill pickle.
It's one of my favorite lines. Life is going to be full of craziness. It just is. So you might as well accept that premise to start with. And you have to recognize that you're going to get caught up in this craziness. I don't care how smart you are, how rich you are, it doesn't matter. You're going to get caught up. And the key to the whole thing is to step back every day, analyze what's going on in your life, focus on what's working and discard what isn't working, because it's just going to drag you down, particularly the wrong people. You're better off to be alone. I analyze this a lot, guys, because I've been through some crazy stuff the last few years. You're better off to be alone than you are to be hanging out with people that are the wrong people. It's just going to make your life terrible on the short side and even worse down the line. And then trying to get over that is not easy either, because you're traumatized. I'm telling you guys, I don't care if it's a business partner, if it's a friend, if it's a business associate, if it's a family member, if it's a wife or husband, kid, it doesn't matter who it is. Nobody gets off that hook. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your mental health, your physical health, your financial health. And that is number one over everything else. If people want to call you selfish, let them call you selfish. I'm telling you guys, I know I'm right when I tell you this. I know from my own experiences. That's the number one thing. And if you take my advice on this, I promise you, your life's going to be so much better. You're going to be so much happier. And happiness is really what it's all about. If you're not happy, what's the point of even living? If you're sick and sad every day, what kind of life is that? Terrible. Any closing thoughts, sir? Any words of wisdom?
No, I learned something every day. I'm with you, Ron.
Oh, one last thing I do want to mention.
Yeah.
One of our subscribers sent me a beautiful letter, beautiful message. He's in the hospital. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm going to say to myself, probably he had some issues. He wound up in the hospital. He's glad that he survived. He's very appreciative of listening to our podcast, suggesting that it's been very, very helpful for him to recover. And he just wanted to shout out and thank us for that. And I want to thank you for being a subscriber and listening and encouraging other people to listen to our podcast as well. And I want to wish you good wishes, good health, and speedy recovery. And I'd like to hear more from you going forward, how it goes, okay? So with all that said, guys, we'll close it out and say it this way. If you don't give up, but you know how I feel about that, eventually those stars are going to line up and things are going to get a whole lot better for you. You have to be patient. You have to be very, 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 very patient. It does not come overnight. Sometimes things happen overnight that are cool, but cool? It's a good word. We use that a lot. Keep coming back to cool. But it's not likely that anything remarkable is going to happen quick. And that's fine. Because as you go through this journey, it's just going to build and build and build and build and build. And you're going to become a stronger, more successful person, tougher person. And when you finally get to this point where you can handle all these things that are going on, now you're in a leadership position and people are going to look up to you. So that's why I do this, to pass it along so you can pass it along and you get the idea. Okay, guys, so until that happens, just stay the course and always remain upbeat and positive.